a dogfight out there.
It's pretty much survival of the fittest.
It's an addicting habit.
The modern day gladiator sport.
It's just like a pure adrenaline rush. When you hit somebody and you blow their car apart, you know, you're just like, yeah.
It's an intellectual pursuit.
I don't think people give it the respect it deserves at all.
There's a lot of misconceptions about it, but I don't think a lot of people know what's entailed in building junk. It's junk, but it's a lot of work. And it's hard work.
What do I like about it? Smashing cars. But where else can you smash cars and get away with it?
Memorial Day kicks off the start of summer, and Demolition Derby season gets underway all across the country. Our first stop on the National Derby circuit is New York, where motorheads set out for the eastern tip of Long Island for a showdown at the Riverhead Raceway.
Well, hearing there's only 5 cars, I like it, you know? I think I have a chance. 5 cars, anything could happen, you know?
Fans fill the stands for a full day of fast and furious races. Stock cars from modifieds to late models run all afternoon. There's a lot on the line for these sportsmen who can invest over $60,000 in their cars. The last event of the evening is the Demolition Derby. Their cars may not be as slick, but they are just as tough. A handful of veteran demo drivers compete season after season and usually walk away with the winning award. Bob Genovese, known to his fans as Whiplash, is among the returning champs. With 13 years of experience, Bob knows a thing or two about cars. He's a sworn Chrysler man, but tonight he's stuck with a Chevy, a detail that worries him when he spots what's parked in the pit. His fiercest competition and longtime friend.
Jimmy Hummel, Wildman Premier. I've been watching him since I was a kid. He's got, 10 years on me.
With a Chrysler Newport, Wildman Primmy will not be easy to eliminate. Bob's Chevy is no match for Wildman's Chrysler.
Me and Bobby are really good friends. It always comes down to me and Bobby a lot. He's real good at this too. But no, I don't think he's ever beaten me yet. He tries real hard. But I don't know if he puts the work into his cars I put into my cars.
But Demolition Derby is unpredictable. A hard car is no guaranteed win.
What we do is we start in a circle, and I'm going to pull off the circle to start the race. And I'm going to pick a car at random, whoever's next to me, and I'm going to smash him with the back.
It's down to the final 2, Whiplash and Wildman Primmy. Both friend and foe, they battle it out to the end. It's Wildman Primmy for the win.
After you've been doing it for so long, it's just, you got me this time, I'll get you next time, That's how it is now. It's pretty cool. I tried to give it a run with a Chevy, it just didn't happen. I'll junk the car and get my money back for the car, so and that'll be the end of this one. Time to start the next one for July 6th.
It's a great feeling when they drop the checker flag. That's why I laid in the grease all week. They give you money, give you a trophy, makes it all worth it.
It was 40 miles from Riverhead Raceway and almost 50 years ago that the first Demolition Derby crashed onto the scene. Although many debate the origins of the sport, the most popularly held belief credits former stock car racer Larry Mendelson.
but I'm sure back in the 30s and 40s, they wrecked a few cars here and there for entertainment, you know, for vaudeville type shows. But Larry Mendelson was the man who put it on the map and patented the idea and really got it going.
As a young racer at the now-defunct Islip Speedway on Long Island, New York, Mendelson noticed that the fans seemed more interested in the accidental crashes than in the race itself. So he thought, why not give them a race that's nothing but crashes? And in 1961, he presented the world with the first official Demolition Derby.
When Larry presented the first one, it was a success that day. As far as I'm concerned, Larry Mendelson was a genius. That's my way of talking about the man.
The sport soon rose to national attention when ABC's Wide World of Sports began televising Islip's weekly derbies. Shortly, demolition derbies were spreading across the country, cropping up at other racetracks and in dirt fields at county fairs.
By 64 or so, it really went haywire. I mean, everybody had to have it.
Demos, as they are known, were fast becoming a new kind of family entertainment. Children were among the biggest fans, and many would become future demolition derby drivers themselves. But when ABC decided to drop demolition derbies from its lineup in 1977, it sent a signal to the world. Attendance dropped off, and it seemed as if demolition derbies were headed down a dead-end road. Development also threw a monkey wrench into the sport, as more and more racetracks were raised to make room for shopping malls and housing tracks.
Since 1904 on Long Island, there's been over 40 racetracks. Dirt tracks, pavement tracks, wooden tracks, cement tracks, indoors, outdoors, had all kinds of tracks. Now it's all down to one. Riverhead Raceway is the only track that lasted this long.
Despite the setbacks, demolition derby has proven to have staying power. And today, the sport is emerging from its grassroots beginning with a modern image.
In the original demolition derby, a guy took a car off the street, out of the junkyard, chained the doors shut, and that was it. It's not just out of the junkyard like it used to be.
A lot has changed since the day of knocking the windows out and just running. That's what we were doing. Now we actually got to build the cars.
The key to building a demolition derby car is starting with the right stuff.
Pretty much any GM vehicle from like the 70s to the 80s I like to use.
I only want certain ones. I only want GM sedans and station wagons, certain years. I'm a die-hard Chevy fan.
Most drivers favor sedans from the 70s, cars that were built rock solid that can stand up to the abuse on the track. But the supply is running low.
It's almost impossible to find good cars. Another 2-3 years, I don't think I'll find one like this anymore. Anything that's left that looks like this will be probably mint in showroom condition, and you can't smash those.
Finding the gem among the slim pickings takes time and dedication. For Sam Dargo, that means looking outside his home state of Indiana.
The only way to get a really good car is to go west or south. Is that car for sale right there? I've got cars from Tennessee, Georgia, Texas, New Mexico. I've even got cars out of New York, believe it or not.
Once the car is found, the real work begins. There's actually a lot involved in getting a car ready to be demolished.
Stock gas tank's usually right under the trunk. And first impact, boom, the gas tank just breaks and you run out of gas. Not for explosion purposes, just because it'll put you out. So you remove it and you put a boat gas tank. Put the boat gas tank in, chain it down, put a cover on it, you're good to go.
Drivers also remove the battery from the engine and put it into the front compartment of the car where it won't get destroyed as easily. Most drivers also replace the original battery with a much better one.
I think it's for an ice cream truck or something, for a refrigerated truck. It's got like triple the amount of amps than a regular car battery. So that way if I lose the alternator or the car gets really hot, I still have enough juice to keep going. I can run all day off the battery.
It's a process of both stripping down and beefing up.
The chains are just holding this together, so it makes a harder impact. This all folds in nice, and it makes like a battering ram. If it's not chained, it's just going to open, fly apart, and then, you could smash the car over here. Another rule, you have to have your doors chained or welded. I've seen doors come off, they rip apart, When they hit in, they just fold. The hardest part of the car is the roof, in case you flip over. So, if you secure it to the roof, you're actually making the doors a little stronger.
Drivers are always looking to add strength to their cars for an edge against their opponents.
Minimum you have to do is take out the windows and chain the doors. That's all you have to do. I take it to a whole nother level. Yeah, I rebuild everything, basically. I won't put this car on my trailer and bring it out there unless it's doing burnouts. You know, unless the motor's running really good, the body's strong, I wouldn't even bother bringing this car out there.
It's true, a derby car should run better than your street car.
You don't want to spend 3 months putting a car like this together and then just going out there and having a clogged fuel filter or something take you out, which would be extremely, extremely frustrating.
A mechanic in his 9-to-5 life, Dennis Ruppel knows his way around cars. He's put countless hours into getting his Buick wagon ready for a round at the Riverhead Raceway.
When I get a car, the first thing I do is pretty much take all the interior out, take the glass out. I have a set motor and tranny that I use all the time for each car.
In Demolition Derby, it's what's on the inside that counts.
I took this motor out of a 77 Chevy Malibu that I bought from an old lady who was the original owner of the car, and it only had like 69,000 miles on it. So the motor was never, the car was never driven past 45 miles an hour its entire life. So the motor is pretty much new. This car is going to be put under extreme, extreme abuse tonight. So, I want to keep it as cool as possible just so it doesn't overheat. The header's sticking out of the hood, which keeps a lot of the heat away from the motor. Plus it just looks really cool because it'll shoot some flames out, so I kind of like that. There's actually 2 tires on one rim with an inner tube inside. So again, it gives this outer tire almost has like a double skin. So if the outer tire gets punctured, the inner tire will kind of hold the tube in and won't go flat as easy. These pieces of metal right here over the valve stems to prevent like another car getting in there and trying to rip the valve stem off. Because some drivers will use that strategy. They'll stick their bumper in your wheel and wait for you to spin the tire so they'll rip the valve stem off. Once you lose your tires, you're at a pretty good disadvantage most of the time.
When it comes to building cars, some guys really pull out all the stops.
For starters, it's got a full cage inside all the way back from the front all the way to the back. You want to touch on the 3 planes?
The front section is built on 3 separate planes, vertical and horizontal. The second section is built on 2 separate horizontal planes. The vertical plane is picked up by the center of the car, and the back bars that go to the floor. That's what's the center section. The rear section in the back is built on 4 separate planes.
And that's why he's my technical director.
Drivers want to reinforce their cars as much as possible. But beyond the safety modifications, not much else can be altered. Inspectors at the demos make sure that cars meet safety standards and do not exceed the limitations.
You want me to? I'm not coming back for inspections. You want to take the top?
Mike Gravel Buxa is the inspector at the Riverhead Raceway.
You can take away from the car, but you can't add to it. That's the general rule of thumb.
But competition has increased as drivers get savvier.
You're really not allowed to do a lot of welding according to the rules, but to be competitive, you kind of have to bend the rules a little bit.
Creative engineering, we call it.
What are you looking for? Any type of metal that's not supposed to be in there.
Too much creativity, however, can get you in trouble.
Sam said to catch a cheater, you gotta hire a cheater to inspect, so I guess he labels me as a cheater in Derby.
With 12 years of experience, Rob Slusser, inspector for Yorktown, Indiana's demo, knows what kind of tricks drivers might try to sneak by.
Because I don't want to see that thing flip around as a helicopter and hurting somebody.
You go through and you look for different modifications that a driver or builder may make and make sure that they follow the rules and they don't go against the rules. And if they go against the rules, then you pretty much kick them out.
Come on, now I've seen your weld jobs before.
The one exception are cars built for the outlaw class, where the purpose is to build a tank-like car that's virtually indestructible. The rules for outlaws are that there are no rules.
Do you guys want a demonstration?
Yeah.
Someone back here.
think that pretty much speaks for itself.
Mechanical mastery is a must in the sport, and sometimes it's all a driver's got.
There's a lot of guys with more driving experience than me that have been doing it for 20 years compared to my like 3 or 4 years. I like to prove to myself that I can outbuild any of the other drivers car-wise.
After all the hours he spent under the hood, Dennis is finally ready to get behind the wheel and put his hard work to the test. It's 4th of July weekend and another demolition derby is on at the Riverhead Raceway.
I've won about maybe 15 at Riverhead, maybe.
Sometimes I win 2 years, sometimes I win 3 a year. Definitely win at least 1 a year.
With Whiplash, Wildman Premi, and other longtime drivers on the track, a newcomer has a hard time making a mark. Dennis Doomsday Rupel is entering his 4th season at Riverhead and has yet to beat the veteran crew.
I've taken a 3rd place and an unofficial 7th place in the championship. And those were the only 2 close to winning.
Dennis's #1 fan is his father.
Dennis is like pretty much broken out of the newcomer group. He's not in the old pro group yet, but they're worried about him. They know he's the up-and-comer, I think.
Doomsday's one of the tough guys coming up. He's learning a lot of tricks, that kid. Me and him, we have a problem because he's hard to beat, hard to stop that kid. Me and Bobby beat up on him a lot, and we have trouble stopping him. Teaming up on him, we have trouble stopping him. So I don't know what he's doing. He's doing something right.
Regardless of any tricks he might have, Dennis has his work cut out for him.
Jimmy Hummel, car 51, will probably be there. He builds some really strong cars, so I'm going to have to kind of look out for him. Whiplash builds a pretty good car, and he's definitely got some very good driving experience, so I'm going to have to kind of keep an eye out for him also.
There's going to be a lot of cars, a lot of big cars just like this. And a lot of little ones, you know, the newcomers and the rookies. We'll get rid of them early. And then it'll just be down to the fellas at the end, you know, the big guys. Mike O'Keefe, 317, he'll be good. I gave him that car, he better be good. I always think I'm going to come down to the end, but who knows.
Even for an old pro who's used to winning, it's impossible to know.
How can I describe it? Nothing fits in this car at all. It was makeshift all the way. And it runs, so we'll see what happens.
Every race, I leave my driveway thinking I'm going to win.
There's a bigger turnout of cars tonight than there was for the Memorial Day opening event. 20 have shown up, most of them sporting some major muscle. Jimmy Hummel unveiled his Chrysler Imperial, a sturdy model. It had been forbidden at Riverhead until a recent change in rules. Still, Dennis is hopeful.
I think I have a good chance. The car is prepared very well, so it'll pretty much depend on luck. You know, anything could happen. I could get stuck on another car in the first 10 seconds, or we could go all the way and win.
I want to see him win. Very badly, I want to see him win.
At Riverhead Raceway, let's demo on!
July 4th weekend at Riverhead Raceway on Long Island, New York. 20 competitors have come together to match muscle and metal. Beneath the squeal of tires and burning engines, a method to the madness emerges. It's not just about annihilation. There are strategic moves and a set of rules to follow. Cars have to make contact with another car every 30 seconds. Avoiding hits is frowned upon and will get a driver disqualified. Purposely hitting the driver's side door will also put you out of the race.
Doomsday car almost got doomed. Whiplash Bob Genovese stalled with that American flag atop his car.
It appears that Bob's makeshift car didn't make it. His car dies early and he's left to sit and watch the action unfold around him.
We get it going here. Wow, great. Big hit. The 103 is done. He has sat too long. Dennis Rupel is done. He sat too long and he respectfully shuts off his car. There he is, your winner! Car number 22, Steve Roser.
The win is an upset. A New Jersey driver, not known to the Riverhead crew, stole the show in a Chevy Impala.
So I guess the trip was worth it. Hell yeah!
Surprisingly, Jimmy's powerful Imperial did not do the job.
Yeah, it was down at the end, and my car stalled, and I finally got it started again, and all I saw was Doomsday. So I smashed Doomsday, and Steve came and hit me in the back, and my car stalled. I hate losing. Second place stinks.
For most of the drivers, the demo did not pan out the way they'd hoped.
We lost the radiator. It's the first time that's happened to us. We thought we had a bulletproof setup on that. But tonight was like a very violent competition. Everybody was hitting hard.
All in all, it was pretty good. I think the car held up exceptionally well for how hard I was getting hit. Yeah, I definitely did some damage to a few cars. I wish the car would have held up better, but there was some really stiff competition, and yeah, I was probably like in the last three still moving, so it's pretty good, not bad.
I really thought tonight was his night.
Back to the drawing board.
I'm really upset, believe it or not, but I thought this car would do a lot better. Something stupid went wrong. I think that I cracked the distributor, but we have to take it apart and find out, but I'm just not happy.
Their cars may be in ruins, but their spirits are not crushed.
The way I look at it, the car's still great shape. Just fix it and bring it back out in 2 or 3 weeks, whatever it is, so.
The car's pretty much intact. I didn't even get a flat, so I'll push that back down and bring it out again, you know, and fill it with gas. That's basically it.
Disappointed, but, you know, we'll be back.
Oh yeah, definitely, without a doubt.
I'm gonna cry. Shut the tape off.
Nothing seems to deter this bunch. Broken axles, lost trannies, smashed radiators, flattened tires. No matter what's thrown their way, they can't wait to get back to the track. So who are these diehards? What compels demolition derby drivers to do what they do? Are they sportsmen? Showmen? Or just a bunch of guys running around with a screw loose? We took to the streets of New York City in search of the public's image of the man behind the wheel.
Stereotypically, I picture drunk rednecks.
I think they're just fun guys. I mean, they're going out there to have a good time and
that daredevil streak in them.
Big old hammer dudes.
I picture somebody who's a little bit violent, has maybe a little bit of animosity in them, and needs to release it in other ways.
Well, back when we're from, we'd probably say they're an old redneck, but that's not always true.
Well, I'm not in a position to call anybody weird or stupid or crazy, but I think it's kind of crazy.
It's a portrait that demo drivers wish to redraw.
I don't think people give it the respect it deserves at all. I think if they really looked into it, it's probably one of the most competitive sports that there is.
For 28-year-old Dennis Ruppel, demolition derby has always made perfect sense.
From the time he was a kid, he loved smashing his toy cars together. So I kind of had a hunch that this is how things might end up.
I was always interested in movies with police chases. It was just a matter of time till I found some place I could do it.
I guess I was a destructive kid anyway, because I always wanted to tear everything apart and see how it worked.
Oh, that's good.
Slammin' Sam Dargo turned his childhood obsession into a way of life.
It's more or less just been a family thing. We've enjoyed it. On vacations, we go derby. That's what we do.
Demo drivers don't take their crashing compulsion lightly.
A lot of guys have egos, which is the only time you run into problems, because they think like, how dare you hit me, I'm such and such, but they kind of forget that the whole idea of the sport is hitting each other. A lot of drivers will even avoid being friends with the other drivers just so they really don't have to worry about that. Personally, I'm a kind of friendly guy. I like to be friends with everybody, and it's gotten me in trouble, so.
I have a few rivals. There's a couple of guys that don't like me, and I don't like them much either.
Whiplash pounding the number 76 of Matthew Torres.
Oh yeah, there's definitely rivals out there, but 90% of them are my friends, so they're all good guys, basically.
There's an odd mixture of rivalry and camaraderie in the derby world.
your friends in the pits and BS with people back and forth. But when you're out on the track, it's balls to the wall. If you have to put somebody into the wall, you do that.
Then there are the alliances the drivers form. Drivers will team up with one another and conspire to take out other cars. Sometimes they'll scheme to split the prize money at the end.
Just like you have drafting in NASCAR, you have teaming and derbying. You know, you can't do much about it. You know, just look at the official and say what's going on. And it's part of derby, and you gotta just live with it. You build a hard car, you just might as well expect to get teamed up on.
In one particular demolition derby I was in last year, Whiplash and Wildman Premier came down to the three of us, and they pretty much beat the living daylights out of me. I think that they thought that I was going to have like an attitude that they ganged up on me or something, but you know, if it was the other way around, I would have done the same thing.
Caught up in the strategies and maneuvers of the game, it is easy to overlook the dangers of the sport. But it is, after all, a collision course out there. There are somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 million road and highway accidents a year in the U.S., nearly 50,000 of them ending in death. Cars crashing into each other is a serious matter. It's something most people try to avoid. But what does it mean for those who make a sport of it?
I think it's a dangerous sport if you don't know what you're doing. I think a lot of guys go out there and they just look at it as like, I'm going to take my mother's old station wagon and smash it. And obviously, you know, there's always a chance you're going to get hurt.
Risk is a part of life. Yeah, I worry about it, but hopefully nothing disastrous will ever happen to them.
Crashes in demolition derby usually range in speed from 5 to 25 miles an hour, depending on the type of track.
Riverhead, you're on the blacktop, you get more traction, probably do 40, 45 miles an hour.
But even slow speed impacts are known to result in injury.
You can do a lot of damage at 25 miles an hour. But these guys are all prepared. They got seatbelts on, helmets, you know, all kinds of restraints. So it doesn't bother them at all. But the average driver on the highway, he gets hit at 25 miles an hour, and he's standing still. He's definitely going to feel it.
It's not so bad. I don't even really think about it. It just happens, and your adrenaline's going, so you keep going. If I actually stop to think about it, I don't know if I do it.
You're sitting in the car and you're demoing, you don't realize what your car looks like on the outside. All you can do is feel the wheel and feel maybe there's a flat here, maybe there's you know, something's rubbing here. But you get out of the car sometimes, you're like, wow, I drove this.
From the look of the tangled hunks of metal left at the end of the derby, it's hard to imagine anyone getting out unscathed.
I've seen guys knock their teeth out. I've seen guys split their heads open.
I've had 2 or 3 cars that have been like so wrecked that actually my next door neighbors thought that I was in the hospital when they saw the car in the trailer the next day and came over to see if I was still alive. My biggest fear is a fire. So I try to do everything I can do in the car to prevent any kind of fire hazard. Like I degrease the frame and everything and hose it off so there's really no kind of oils around or anything like that.
While no derby has ever resulted in a fatality, the drivers do get banged up. Bruises, scrapes, whiplash, and broken ribs are the curse of the derby driver.
But I think if you modify the car and you reinforce the car in the right places, then it's really not too dangerous.
Still, there's no denying there's something of a thrill seeker in the demolition derby personality. And it's this life-on-the-edge aspect that packs the stand.
I haven't seen anybody that saw it and say they didn't love it. When they come out to Riverhead, they come out and everybody picks their favorite car, I guess the paint job or the name or whatever they use. And they pick their favorite driver and root them the whole way.
The more menacing the moniker, the better.
I call myself the Son of Sam.
Bob Whiplash Genovese.
Last year was the first year I'd admitted to being Moose Dog. It was kind of a alias, just kept it quiet, and now it's turned it loose and we'll get buck wild with it.
You'll hear a whole group of the stands, hey Doomsday or hey Whiplash, and you know, I'll look over and go, yeah, that's my kid, you know.
While not quite the stature of rock stars, demo drivers have their groupies too.
I'll tell you what, one night I did so bad. Somebody put me in the wall, got wiped out right away. I was not happy. And I'm loading my car on the trail, and here come these little kids, autographs, the whole thing. It just made me forget about the whole race and everything. It was good. It was really good.
You go make this awesome shot on one of the competition, and to hear that crowd cheer over your engine and everybody else's engine is the greatest feeling in the world.
But as awesome as the sport can be, it can sometimes get under your skin, becoming more obsession than hobby. For Sam Dargo, the devotion to Demolition Derby runs deep. As president of the International Demolition Derby Association, or IDDA, Sam aims to raise the sport to a professional status.
The goal of the International Demolition Derby Association is to become the sanctioning body for the sport.
The IDDA hopes to be to Demolition Derby what NASCAR is to stock racing.
What we're trying to do is unify the rules across the country to where a guy can come from New York and run in California and not have any questions about the cars.
As it stands now, the rules and regulations are in the hands of the individual promoters and vary from place to place. And without an official governing body organizing the sport, promoters are free to grant national championship titles to drivers who win only their local event. The IDDA envisions a day when the championship title will have true meaning.
One of our goals is to actually hold a world championship. What we want to do eventually and in the end is hold a series across the United States and then hold a true world's championships with an international flavor.
The first IDDA event of the season is set to take place in Sam's hometown of Yorktown, Indiana. With just a day left to prepare, Sam tends to the final details.
That's metal right there. That could hurt somebody pretty bad if you got thrown out into the crowd. So we're trying to make sure we get all that junk out of here.
Well, heck, I jumped in that car that Sam built, and
Still in its infancy, the IDDA is more of a club than a sanctioning body. Members around the world use its website to communicate with one another.
They share tips, they share parts, they share houses.
He may have grease under his nails, but today's demo man is wired.
You ever have a problem, you ask one of these guys, they answer you in a matter of one day. You got an answer on your screen.
Tomorrow's event promises to be a good one, with many out-of-state members coming to meet each other face-to-face for the first time.
I invited some members to come to my home.
How are you this morning?
What it is it's a gathering of friends, really. And the Demolition Derby is going to break out tomorrow among friends. Okay, who's the guy with the Imperial? That'd be you, Chris.
Chris Ecker.
Sam Dargo. Nice to meet you, buddy. So did you have any trouble finding the place?
Go right to it.
All right, good deal.
Life at the Dargo house centers around Demolition Derby. In addition to setting up the event, Sam has also been helping his son prepare 2 cars that he will run in the Derby. At age 14, Shay finally convinced his parents to let him drive.
Been waiting for a while, asking every year if I can drive, and every year, no, gotta be older. So, finally got both parents to sign.
The reason he's getting to drive is because my son's been around Demolition Derby since he was in diapers. And he is well versed in what goes on. I understand that there's danger out there, and I feel like he's mature enough, even at 14, that he knows what he's getting into. I know what he's getting into. So I'm confident that he will be fine.
Sam picked up a Chevy Chevette for Shay to run in the mini class and an 82 Ford wagon that he will enter in the 80s class. To deal with the rarity of the 70s sedans, the IDDA has created different classes so that smaller cars can run against one another and stand a chance. The big boys Sam keeps for himself, stashed at the ready out back.
I still get out and I still compete. It's really a great thing for me because driving the cars I can identify, so it makes it a whole lot easier to associate with the guys.
If things get too serious local, I'm going to break this bad girl out right here and show them what a whooping's about.
I'm not a stuffed shirt, white collar kind of guy. I'm a Derby driver first. I'm the president of the International Demolition Derby Association second.
Athletes the world over have their pregame rituals. And Derby drivers are no different. Morning comes early and the all-night revelers have to get in gear.
But I got up this morning and my voice was like, hey.
Hey, look, man, Jack is back in Nashville, Tennessee. Come on down, we're gonna party, we're gonna rock all night long.
But Demolition Derby Day waits for no one. Cars need to be loaded and hauled to the fairgrounds.
Don't go out there and go crazy. I want you to just drive, relax, stay relaxed. All right. Any hard hits you take, you make sure they get a lick right back, same style. Because you're going to have to earn respect being a rookie. These guys are going to try you. They're going to see what you're made of right off the bat. So what I want you to do is just anything they do to you, give them back that much and maybe a little more. And once they realize that you're there to play rough, just like they are, they're going to chill out on you. All right. Good luck out there. Okay. I'll see you over at the track.
Like most demolition derbies around the country, this one takes place at the county fair. It is the closing highlight of the week-long event. Derbiers from as far away as Minnesota and Buffalo, New York pull in and register. Jackie, Sam's wife, helps out too. Last-minute wrenching and welding is the norm. Even with the months of preparation that have gone into the cars, the crews can't keep their hands off their creations, nipping and tucking endlessly.
Brakes are laying over there. That's where they're going to stay through the whole derby. Now it's all going to be about driving.
The fail-safe Imperial is not holding up as planned. It is a blow for Chris and Kenny.
But hey, whoever said it was easy?
He decided to run this thing 2 weeks ago after sitting a year in the woods, you know. So, I mean, we could have put more steel on it. It was 3 o'clock this morning. I mean, it was still hot when I left.
Once drivers get their cars into shape, they take them through the inspection. Nothing suspicious is slipping by today. Many are sent back to rework their cars. Those that do get the okay are outfitted with a wooden stick on the driver's side door.
Good to go, boss.
This is used as a signal during the derby. When sticks are up, the car is in. Once a driver is called out, he breaks his stick to let the others know. Since outlaw cars don't need to be inspected, Chris and Kenny use the time to fidget further.
Well, we got it pretty much wrapped up. Now we got a rear axle pinion chained up.
Hopefully this solves the problem. Then we can put the brakes back in.
We want to make this derby a hard rocking derby, okay?
A meeting is called to give the drivers the lowdown before the showdown.
There'll be no teaming at this event. If you don't like it, I don't care. Tough.
67 cars have shown up for the Demolition Derby. The IDDA breaks its event into heats. The top 3 drivers of each heat qualify to compete again in the feature. The last competition of the night will be the Outlaw class, highlighting the hardest cars and the toughest drivers. With a little help, Sam gets things rolling.
Car number 921, you're in the first heat of the mini class.
So you don't want to miss out on this. Come on down, you still got time. The Demolition Derby gets underway at 6 o'clock. For Hit Country 102.5 WMDH, I'm Jim Barbie.
The tension ratchets up as the drivers take to their cars and the fans get ready for the face-off. We're with the International Demolition Derby Association, or IDDA, for their season opener in Yorktown, Indiana. First up, the mini cars. Number 208, Shea Chevette, is drawn for the second heat.
I'm not too worried yet, but I don't think I'll get hurt. Got a new neck brace and a nice helmet and everything to keep me safe.
With his mother in the stands and his father on the sideline, Shea will make his long-anticipated first run a reality.
I think everybody wants to win. I'll try to put the 80s car in the top 3, 5, maybe whatever. This one I'm just going to go out and get a feel for it and have some fun.
Shay is pushed to the wall. He can't get in gear and is forced to break his stick, taking himself out of his first competition. After the beating the car takes in the heat, drivers who will run again in the feature have major work to do in a limited amount of time. The members of the IDDA are known for helping one another during the mad dash to fix their cars.
It's awesome because you'll see guys that will tear up another guy's car and just go all for it. And then after the heat is over and the car's torn all to pieces, you'll see the very same guy that did the damage to the car actually go and help the fella repair his car so he can go back out there and compete again.
While the winners of the mini heats work on their cars, the 80s heats begin. Shay brings out his Ford wagon and has another go. Shay is the sole survivor.
I won the heat, barely.
But it is not a jubilant victory. The officials, including his father, were not happy with Shay's performance.
They was mad because I wasn't hitting my buddies, and I just kept slowing down before I hit them, I guess you could say. They just want me to hit harder. I'll do it in the feature.
Heat winners return to the pit to have it out in the feature. Shay puts up a good fight, but midway through, his car fails him. It comes down to a final one-on-one battle. Demolition Derby is an unpredictable sport. There's no telling what's going to make a car last. It could be skill. It could be luck. Or maybe even divine intervention. Though he was taken out early, Shay did well for his rookie run.
I got nose to nose with some guy right here, and I don't know if my axle was already broke then or what, but I just put it in gear and the car just shook, so, well, set it off. I figured the hits, I'd be able to move with the hits. Every time I'd make a hit or get hit, the wheel would just come flying, I had to let go of it. And all my driving plans that I had went out the window.
But regardless of his setbacks, Shay has found the sport he loves.
I'll be at the next one.
There has been a lot of carnage for the fans tonight, but the biggest show yet will be the Outlaw event. As much trouble as Chris and Kenny have had with their Imperial, they still think they have a good chance.
Still having problems backing up, but we got it semi worked out. Put the brakes back in too, so that's an advantage. Don't have to worry about the driver's door shots. So we're pretty confident. I think we can take it to the house. That's what the goal is.
4 cars have turned up, all built to the hilt. Each car weighs in around 10 to 12,000 pounds, and combined, There's as much steel in these machines as in a locomotive.
I'll probably get my scrap on today. It'll be a good time though. I don't know, maybe somebody will show up with something kind of stiff, so I don't know. We'll find out. I ain't afraid to bend it and I ain't afraid to get bent, so.
He'll have a good chance. It looks deceiving. It looks like a mess, but it's pretty solid.
The cars take their corners. A mechanical failure eliminates Moose Dog early on. Chris's Imperial is putting up a good fight, but with two behemoths converging on him at once, he finds himself losing ground. Once a car is flipped, it is out of the competition, but the officials decide to let Chris back in. Moose Dog's dead vehicle is removed and the battle resumes. Welfare puts Chris on the wall. He's not going anywhere now. It's down to the final two. After all the man-hours they devoted to the Imperial, Chris and Kenny will not be going home with the winning trophy.
I got a bunch of trophies, but it seems like they're all thirds and seconds. Just always a bridesmaid, but never a bride, so to speak.
Once they get their car off the front loader, Chris and Kenny will analyze the damage and start their repair plan. But they are hit with another stroke of bad luck.
He set the bucket down on his toe when he was trying to unhook the car, broke his toe.
Kenny is taken to the hospital, leaving Chris to ponder his performance.
It was a success. I got all the weak spots out of the car now. They broke some stuff on the rear end and they knocked the tire off. That was about it, other than the fact that I got flipped over. The other guy came around and got underneath me. I was kind of at a funny angle and it just, I don't know, it seemed like I got hit twice. So I don't know if one guy pushed me up and then the other guy came and finished me off or whatever. You'll see I was in the car trying to shift still. I thought maybe I could catch the two tires because I got a posi traction rear end. And I thought maybe I could, flip the car back on its wheels by myself. So I was in there running it and it was building pressure and then I came up through the dipstick tube. And when I hit the headers, that's when it ignited. I didn't know if I should try to get out or just sit there and wait. So I was trying to undo my lap belt and then the guy just told me to calm down. Well, then they didn't put the fire out right away. It was a couple minutes, so that made me kind of uneasy. But it's pretty safe. I got a fire suit, so.
The flip and the fire, though dramatic, were not the worst of it.
The one on the other end of the track, that full track shot, that was the one that put my lights out, literally, knocked me unconscious. I heard it coming, and before I could even brace or anything, everything was kind of fuzzy and then I couldn't breathe. Then I just sat there for a minute and they told me to break my stick. So I just sat there and got calmed down and collected and figured out that I was going to live.
Mishaps aside, Chris's devotion to Demolition Derby has not wavered.
Oh, hasn't changed my mind one bit. Came down here to put on a good show and I think we pretty much accomplished that. Don't see many cars roll over and catch on fire. Anyway, we got some good news. Sam came over and said that I get the Mad Dog Award for the toughest outlaw driver.
I think we put on a really successful, hard-hitting show. It was awesome. The drivers did a great job. A little attitude was displayed out here, but for the most part, I think it was one hell of a derby.
Now, with a smashing success behind him,
The big trophy.
Sam continues to work toward his goal of getting the IDDA on the map and the sport of demolition derby to the top. He is not one to give up.
No's don't mean a whole lot to me because if you say no at the front door, I'm coming to the side door. We're going to talk again.
And Sam is not the only one who wants to see the sport soar. Serious derby drivers hope their hobby goes professional.
I put so much time into it now, time and money, sure. If it went professional, I know a handful of us would probably be in the top 10 in the country.
I'd love to see it at the Olympics. Demolition derby at the Olympics would be a great thing.
What do you say, 4 Joe Lawson Jr.?
I think they were hitting a little harder than usual.
All I know is Rupel got me in the driver's door. I'm gonna have to have a little talk with him in a minute.
It's like the unnoticed extreme sport, really.